Hello. Good morning, ma'am. Voice is not audible, ma'am.
Good morning, madam. Your voice is not audible. Once check your Zoom settings.
Excuse me, ma'am. Your voice is not audible.
Hello, can you all listen to me now?
Yes, ma'am. Now okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
you are
fine.
audible.
Yeah, ma'am.
So you didn't heard not a single word from my side.
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Now, not now.
Only
Before.
your screen, ma'am. Your screen has presented.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, fine. I'll explain it again. Okay. Do you remember the rise of novel, which I explained yesterday? Please mute yourself because already half an hour is over and I was like, hello. Hello. Who is speaking? I have to mute that person. Hello. Okay, thank you. Fine, I'll explain it. The rise of novel. The 18th century has been a very fertile period. It was a very fertile period because people shifted from drama to novel. Why they shifted? I have the reason behind it. I will explain you. Okay. We also have seen the rise of periodical essays. So before shifting to novel, they were shifted to periodical essays. Why? I will tell you. I will explain you. Don't worry. This age is also known as a neoclassical age. Above all, this is an age of rise and growth of novel. What is literature? Basically, literature is all about reflection of society. So people, when people are doing something, let's take today's 21st century example. People are so much into web series, binge watching. Okay, they are so much into watching anything. I mean, they are so much into the mobile gadgets. Okay, basically. So at that time in the 18th century, people were so much into periodical essays. They were into novels, not because they were very interested in reading stuff, because they have so much leisure time and they want to do something for the entertainment purpose. So that is why they shifted from drama to the novels or periodical essay. It was during this period that eminent novelist, the famous novelist of 18th century, Richardson, Fielding, Goldsmith, etc., enriched the English novel during this age. Okay, they were the famous what should I say, poets or dramatists, or not dramatists. This period is basically for novelists. So these were the novelists who were so much into the writing, because they are giving a new thinking or new stuff to the public, to the people of 18th century. First, why drama decline? People in every age have craved for entertainment. Okay, even right now we are craving for entertainment. That's why we don't study properly. That's why we don't do the stuff which we have to do. See, every time every human is in confusion. There is something that human have to do, but instead of doing that specific things, we are very lazy. We became very lazy. Not even the lazy, the procrastination thing is in us right now. So we don't do things which we really wanted to do. Instead of that, we used to go for entertainment purpose. Let's take an example of normal child. If right now we will give a phone to that person to study, okay, instead of studying, he will start scrolling into Instagram or any other thing. So that time people, even every century, was craving for something. And once, if you want to understand the English literature, it is very easy. Just go for every ages, look back, look for 15th century people, what they are craving for, and then you will understand what that age speaks, what that age is expressing. Okay, in 18th century, people are expressing what? Novels. They are seeking the entertainment in novel. Okay, when we take the example of Elizabethan and Jacobean period, and this entertainment was provided by drama. So in the Elizabethan and the Jacobean period, people were craving for entertainment in the form of drama. By the time of the Restoration, then comes the Restoration period. At that time, English drama had grown artificially immoral. So as I told you, drama before that, drama was based on morality. Okay. Whenever people are watching drama, either they are learning something or either they are learning the biblical stuff. But gradually with time, drama became so immoral, and people don't even start hating, but they are not liking it, and they stop doing that. They stop watching drama. So that's the reason the decline of drama arises. First reason, people stopped watching drama. Second reason, now they don't have drama. So obviously, when we don't have anything to do, we have to do something, because a human is a social animal. That person cannot sit at home or do nothing. Every time we are doing something, so we can't sit leisure. So people were like not watching drama because they already watched and they don't find that kick in that drama. So they shifted to reading. Okay, English drama had grown artificial and immoral. It has lost its appeal by the 18th century, and some other form of entertainment was needed to take its place. As I explained you, it was a decline of drama during the 18th century that moved for the novel. Okay, now comes the rise of periodical essay. How they shifted from drama to novel. In between there is an intervene thing. That is, intervene means in between them there is something. What is that? That was periodical essay. Okay, the periodical essay play an important role uh, in bringing about the rise of novel. So novel arose because of essays, don't forget that. Okay, the novel requires an everyday flexible prose style, and it was fashioned by Addison and Steele along with the other through the periodical essay. See, this whole paragraph, what it is saying, that periodical essay, what is written in that essay? Obviously, see, whenever we right now, if we read the novel of 21st century, the basically a novel is in a very diverse form. Okay, some people are reading romances. Right now at 21st century, we have multiple genres. We have romances, we have fictions, we have gothic novels, we have everything. It's like 21st century is a combination of all the ages. So in the same way, if we are shifting from one age to another age, so that age with itself is carrying past ages forms also. Okay, and when they are taking the past stuff in the same way, like I'll take an example of human being. Okay, when we are doing something new in our life, we used to take the experience of the past stuff, whatever the mistake we did, whatever we learned. In the same way, periodical essay was depicting what the immorality of the drama, and the interesting and the attractive part people were attracted right now in the 18th century. So basically, this is saying that periodical essay was expressing the literature of that time. Secondly, it did much to create the taste for light literature, which made possible the popularity of the novels of Defoe, Richardson, and Henry Fielding. So people are right now into the literature part. Okay. Third, rise for circulating library. There is something called circulating libraries. See, when we take the example of, let's take the example of 21st century. Right now, when we go to rich people houses, we see the bars in their houses, which is reflecting that they are rich people. Not in the middle. Oh, okay, fine. Middle class people have 2-3 homes, 2-3 rooms, or they are carrying mostly max to max. They have 3 BHK. Okay. So even the 3 BHK is very huge. If a person having 3 BHK right now, or the 4, more than 4, so if they are rich, they are, for displaying part, they are putting in the corner of any house, in the corner, they are making a bar. Right now, drinking is like drinking and having drugs, taking drugs shows that it is not every low class people. I mean, I'm not saying that they can't afford it. Obviously, they can steal it, they can robbery stuff. But the thing is, when we go to rich people houses, one place is for bar stuff. They are keeping the bottles. They are displaying that we have this bottle from this country. We have this bottle that is seasons for last 10 years. Okay, so that time in the 18th century, people used to display their bookshelves. They have the bookshelves, and that bookshelves was displaying that those people belongs to higher classes. Right now, that bookshelf shifted from books to alcohol. That time in the 18th century, people were showing their aristocratic or the richness through bookshelves. Okay, and that's called circulating library. People were like printing because of the printing press came in England because of the person called Caxton in 1476. Now, before that, people used to write their novel, and writing a novel is not an easy stuff. Okay, that time handwritten novel was very costly. Now, because of printing press, novels become cheap. Each and every person can buy that novel. In the same way, right now in the modern era, each and every person can buy alcohol. But the thing is what should we say? That it has varieties. Okay, rich people are taking good kind of alcohol. Okay, lower class people is having that tree alcohol or the cheapest alcohol. In the same way, circulating libraries means all people have books that time. So they are buying according to their pocket. Okay, then comes the middle class. In the 18th century, that was considerable expansion of the reading public. People are starting reading more. The prosperous middle class came to occupy a dominant position. This new reading class has no high literacy and critical standard. It was simply wanted to read for pleasure and relaxation, and this change of emphasis favored the growth of novel. So obviously, people, if we are doing something, we have two reasons. See, every human is doing anything, there has two reasons. Either he or she really want to do something in their life that is adding in his or her career, or else he just like running away, he just want relaxation, he just want that entertainment, and he doesn't want to do anything. Okay, in the same way, middle class people of 18th century started reading just for pleasure, not for gaining of knowledge or their cognitive skill. Fifth, the democratic movement. See, when we have let's take an example of a small child. When that small child have limited knowledge, he speak limited words. Let's take an example of 1-year child. Okay, a 1-year child only speak that thing which he confronted or imitated or learned, like mummy, papa. Even the not 1-year child, 2-3 year child started speaking this. Okay, in the same way, if we are if we are reading more means generating more ideas in our mind. Reading more means imagination, creative thinking. Reading more means reading is giving us that power to speak in the public. So because people in the 18th century started reading more and more, now they became so democratic. Democracy, what democracy is all about? Democracy is giving that power to the human being to express himself, to live on the basis of on his or her rights. So that's way people of 18th century have right now. They are like learning their democratic power. When they started reading, they have so many things. Their ideas are increasing, and because now they have so much ideas. Whenever they are going in the public, they started discussing about that specific novel or the things they read in last week or something like that. Okay, sixth thing. Sorry, let's take an example of the Tom Jones novel written by Henry Fielding. Okay, it was about an illegitimate child of servant Jenny. See, that time, 18th century was a time of ordinary people. That was not a time of God. That was not a time of saint. That was not even a time of aristocratic people. That was a time of ordinary people. So literature of 18th century is reflecting the life of ordinary people. If we see the novels of Henry Fielding, Samuel Richardson, that is reflecting what it is reflecting. It is reflecting that people of ordinary, ordinary people, what they are doing, how they are living their life. So every century, what I am trying to convey you is that every century have its own characteristics. Okay, if you read that characteristics in itself, you will understand what that age is about. If you can't read the characteristics, simply go through with like in that time humans are craved for what right now at this moment. Let's take an example of right now, example of women's. Okay, if we look back in the 18th century or the 17th century, women don't usually go for parlors. They don't go so much for cosmetic products. Okay, right now, because women are going so much in the parlor, even if they are not going any function, or if they are not going outside, even the housewives of the rich family or even the middle class family, they are just going for parlors for nothing. They're spending money for nothing. So, okay. So when we started, if you start reading the novel of this century, right now, 21st century, you will find a line something which is reflecting that woman is looking beautiful, that woman eyes is like something else. So every age, what I'm trying to convey is every age is carrying something in itself. And if you want to understand English literature, just go through with the ages. First, write the name of all the ages, then write the characteristics of that ages, then go to what people were craving for that, what they are doing for entertainment purpose. In that way, you can divide the literature, and then in that way, you can understand the English literature. It's not that simple. I'm not saying the English literature is easy. It's like ocean, but at least you will get the just idea about what that age is literally carrying with himself. Okay. Now the leisure time, as I explained you, see, middle class women of 18th century were very free. They are not going for occupation because women are not allowed to go out at that time. Okay, so they are sitting idle in their home. And for the household chorus, even the servants, after doing, I mean, how much time it will take for to clean a house? Maximum 1 hour, 2 hours. We have almost, let's reduce 6 or 7 hours for sleeping. Let's reduce 2 to 3 hours for doing housework, and 2 to 3 hours for, let's take 12 hours for everything: household work, sleeping, cleaning, everything. Now still a person has 12 hours left. What that person is doing in that 12 hours? So obviously they are not going for drama, they are not watching drama because drama became immoral. So they switched to novels. They started reading periodical essays, they started reading novel, because that time television was not there. Okay, then comes the rise of publishers. As I told you, obviously people, when there is some demand in the society, obviously the supply is also increased. If there is someone, if anyone is from economic background, that person will understand demand rise, supply rise, demand decrease, supply decrease. Obviously, when we don't want any product in the society, why people will I mean make that product? Why company wants to go for that loss? Obviously, the production of any product is a production of demand that leads to production of demand. Okay, so riser of publishers, that time publishers demand was rising because people are reading more and more, and the printing is going a lot. That's why the rise of publisher arises, and they are for that, in that way they are gaining so much of money. Then wider scope. When we watch drama, okay, I'll tell you, if you want to do an experiment in yourself, okay, when you watch a web series, let's take an example of recent web series. I don't know whether you all watched it or not. Let's take an example of that's Hotstar. In Hotstar, the new web series came. What was the name of that web series? Rudra. Okay, when you watch Rudra, the Great Indian Murder, or these kind of web series, you have that limited scope. I mean, you can only, when we are watching something, now we are going in the direction that that person is saying, that that director is directing us. So when we are watching something, we are going according to that person. But when we are reading something, okay, that time we have wider scope, we have multiple ideas. When okay, when you compare, let's take an example of I mean, what I really want to say here is, if you want to create your imaginative skill or the creative skill, okay, You want to think out of the box. Why people saying they think out of the box, think out of the box? We are not born to think out of the box. How can we think out of the box? How can we think so much? By reading, not by watching. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. If you're watching something related to your reading, you will have even with that also, you will only watch what the director what that specific director want to show you. But when you are reading novel, you have the wider scope of wider imaginations, wider thoughts, wider what should I say? You have multiple ways to express yourself. That was all about rising of novel. Then happened the French Revolution. It was happened for 10 years. And obviously, when there is some kind of war is happening, the money crisis arises. Let's take an example of 21st century. Corona came. Our GDP decreases. We are lacking for the money. Even right now today, the market is going so down. If anyone is investing their money in marketing, share marketing, so that person will have that idea that the market is very low right now. Because my brother used to spend money in share market. So he was like, I mean, obviously he's younger than me. Then he used to share with me that Didi, that the market is declining because of the war happening there. Okay, so if in any country, if let's take an example of Ukraine, okay, the war is happening there. Ukraine is having crisis. We are facing it. If even in the society, anyone is having any crisis, other countries have to face that. So French Revolution, and every crisis comes the demand for money. Obviously, if we are our house, we are having French Revolution, we are having fight going on, so we are lacking for money. And for now government wants money. What government will do? It will increase tax. You will feel bankruptcy. Okay, your I mean, your daily products price will increase. Take an example of petrol. Right now petrol is a stuff we all use, okay, for traveling. Right now petrol price is increasing. Why? Because there is no money in the economy. I'm not saying that we are like bankruptcy or we don't have so much money. I'm just saying that the money we think that we should have, we don't have that much. So that's why it increases the price of tax, it increases the price of bread. In the same way French Revolution happened. Okay, now comes to the romantic period. Romantic period basically means two things. First, there is two type of the word romantic means two things. First thing, a relationship between two human beings. It can be, okay, at that time in the 18th century it is only men and women. But right now in the 21st century, even in India now, of a two human individual, the two individual is having a relationship with each other, whether homosexual or normal relationship, that relationship is called romance. Okay, first thing, romantic means romance of having two individuals. Second thing, romantic means a romance for world, a romance for nature. So in the 18th century, romantic means these two things. Remember that. Now comes to another unit by Joseph Andrew, written by Henry Fielding. So what this novel is all about? The full name of this novel is The History of Adventure of Joseph Andrews and of his friend Mr. Abraham Adams. Okay, it's a novel. This is a novel written by Henry Fielding and published in 1742. When it is published? In 1742, written by Henry Fielding. Remember the name, remember the full title. It might be asked in your exam or in your net exam, whether you are preparing it or not, I have no idea. Okay, just remember the name. Fielding described the work as a cosmic epic poem in the prose. That means cosmic epic poem in the prose means that poem is epic, means something lengthy, something big. Poem means obviously it is in the form of poem. Okay, and prose means it's not in the form of poem. Simple. Prose means something it's in a biblical form, something that has that doesn't carry any type of figure of speech, that's not carrying rhyme, meter, style, paragraph, quatrains, these kind of stuffs. Okay, The cosmic epic poem in a prose is a work of prose fiction with elements. What are the elements? Comedy. This poem is it's a bit of comedy. It's an epic. That means it's a very sorry, it's not poem. Uh, it's a novel. It's a very epic novel, huge one, comedy, and within itself it carries romance. Okay, it is an epic in length and variety of incident happen. It's full of adventures, and the hero motive of this novel is love. Okay, yesterday I discussed with you Picaresque novel. Is anyone have any idea about Picaresque novel? Please tell me. It's like I'm speaking. Now, speak something. Tell me about Picaresque novel. Yesterday I explained you. Give me a minute. I'm having a water. Okay. Yesterday, as I explained you, Picaresque novel. In the Picaresque novel, the hero is a one who is thief or rogue. I mean, that hero is not a hero. What we see when we look at the picture of hero or the heroine, we see them as the I mean, at the top of the level. We used to correct the features of hero is he's good looking. Okay, let's leave about the looks. He's strong. He has good moral qualities. He is doing something which is morally good. Okay. He is doing something which is morally good. Okay. But in the Picaresque novel, the qualities of heroes is he is a thief. Just remember this. Very simple. Now tell me, what is Picaresque novel? Who is the hero of Picaresque novel? Guys, come on, yeah. I'm not explaining in a very bad way. At least I'm trying my best to tell you each and every stuff.
Hero is a thief or rogue.
Yeah, hero is a thief. That's all. Now you will understand. Okay. The Picaresque novel comes from a Spanish, the Picaresque especially comes from a Spanish word, picaresca. Okay. Or from picaro or rogue. Rogue means rascal, thief or rascal, characteristics of dishonest or unprincipled person. Obviously, thief cannot be a good person. If we are stealing something, we are not a good person. If we are doing something immorally wrong, that means we are not good person. So thief is not a good person. Is a genre of prose fiction. It is in a prose fiction. This Picaresque novel is in a prose fiction. Whatever the novel it is mostly in a prose form. 1 second. Picaresque novel means, prose means more. Prose means in a prose form, yeah. Sorry, I'm explaining it very. Okay, it depicts the adventure of the roguish but appealing hero. Obviously, he's a hero, but not with moral qualities, usually of low social class. I don't understand why they. Okay, fine. Okay, just give me an example. Tell me why people used to steal. What is the reason of stealing? What is the reason of? Tell me.
Poverty.
Poverty, obviously. Second reason.
To get the more money.
See, there are people of middle class family also. They don't have that much. They are not lacking with so much of money, but still they used to steal. Why? Because they don't have that thing. People used to steal because they don't have that thing. Okay, they don't have that product or they don't have that object. That's why people used to steal, because they don't have that. We don't steal those things which we have. I'm not saying that we steal. I'm saying that if a person is stealing anything, that person is stealing that particular thing because that person doesn't have that. Okay. So usually lower class people used to steal because they don't have things. So usually of low social class who lives by the wits of corrupt society, Picaresque novel typically adopt a realistic style. Okay. There are often some elements of comedy and satire Comedy is like, what is comedy? Yaar? When we laugh something, when we watching something, and we laugh, that is comedy. Satire, as I explained you, something which is in a sarcasm way, humorous way. Okay. While the term picaresque novel was only coined in 1810, the picaresque novel originated in Spain during the Spanish Golden Age in 1554. So, what it is saying here right now, in England, picaresque novel became famous in 1810, in the 17th century. Okay, but it was already originated in Spain in 14th century in the year 1554. Remember that. Okay, now the major characteristics of this Joseph Andrews novel is: first, Joseph Andrew, he's a protagonist of the novel. Second, Lady Bobby, she's constantly seduced Joseph Andrew, but he every time encountered it with the force of virtue. So this woman is like woman is seducing or chasing Joseph Andrew, but every time Joseph Andrew find a way to flee from herself. Okay. A third person is Pardon Adams. He is a friend of Joseph Andrew. He teaches him Christianity and the virtues. Fourth is Goodwill. Fanny Goodwill. She is a beautiful young country girl, and she is a beloved of Joseph. At last, they get married. Okay. I'll explain the story. Don't worry about it. After completing this last slide, I will read from your textbook. Okay. Deals with the subject. This novel is dealing with the subject. What are the subjects? Love, comedy, reformation. What is reformation? I explained to you. Reformation means what? A kind of change. Let's go with the word. Reformation means something which is changing. Okay. Reformation of the society. That means change in the society. And give didactic message. Didactic means, what is the meaning of didactic? It's like dictating, kind of dictating stuff. Not listening, not advising, only commanding and dictating. Okay. Tone of the novel is satirical and ironical. Satires contemporary society. Okay. Themes is charity, chastity, corruption of clergy, social class. Novel is written in the third person narrative. There are three types of narrative. There are novels written in three forms. First person narrative. That means the writer himself is writing. That means the writer, who is a poet or the novelist, himself writing the novel. Second is second person narrated. That means the protagonist, friend, or the narrator, or someone else who is not the hero of the story is writing a novel. Third form is omnipresent novel. Third person novel means omnipresent. That means omnipresent means which is looking things from the above. We used to say God is omnipotent because he's looking everything, every person from the above. Okay. So third person narrative means omnipresent form of narrative. That person is looking things from the above. He is just describing things from after looking from the above. Okay. So this poem is all about third person narrative. That means it is written in omnipresent form. Novel present ugly sides of society. It is didactic in nature, intended to teach, particularly in having moral instructions as an ulterior motive. The motive of this novel is it is giving moral instructions. So now come to the novel. I hope you understand till now. Come to page number 181. Fast. We have only 25 minutes left. And I need to finish this. I'm skipping the introduction part. Life and works of Henry Fielding. You please all read it. Introduction of the age. I explained you already, romantic age. But still, read it. If you will read by your own, then only you will understand. 1 second. I cannot read it. I'm just looking for a gist of summary and I'm not finding it. Okay, let's read the characters in Joseph interview, then we'll find the story. Okay, come to page number 207. Okay, 207. Joseph Andrew as a novel of character. Joseph Andrew is written as a picaresque novel. I explained you that what is picaresque. This is why it is best described as a novel of adventure. This novel is full of adventure. Remember that. The characters here come alive and are so persuasive that it is they who carry the story forward. Okay, they were like very persuasive. But what is the meaning of persuasive? A person who is like pursuing something. What should I say in simpler form? A person who's looking for something. Okay, persuasive means we are pursuing or looking for something or doing something. Okay, in this novel, the adventures depicted are merely used as an excuse to introduce certain characters and depict more discordant strains of their behavior. Joseph gets robbed. Okay, he was robbed. He get robbed, and Adams, his friend, loses his way only so that we may see bragging hypocrites get exposed. If such adventures did not occur as they are described here, we would lose out on the entertainment provided by the characters like Mrs. Tauvos, Parsons, Brabus, Parson, Trulliber. These are the characters of this novel. The Square of Fools, the Square of False Promises. Characters are lifelike. Okay, I'll tell you the story. The story is all about Joseph. He was a person who got robbed. I mean, he has a money and he got robbed for something. And Adam was his friend. He tried to help him, but still he also lost money. And in the same way, that the story was revolving. I'll tell you a very good example of 21st century. Look at the movies called Golmaal. Stealing stuff, having comedy, having with not that much lengthy, but yeah, it's kind of Golmaal type of movies. Okay, characters are lifelike. Joseph Andrews has many characters. The characters of some characters like Parson Adams and Mrs. Slipslop are finally etched, while Brabus, Peter Pounds, or Beau Depar are etched with a few bold strokes. Then there are those characters who come in gradually into the story and whose character develop progressively, while others are recognized for what they are immediately. But all the characters have one thing in common. They are all lifelike. I mean, they are just living their life. Whatever they are doing in the story, in this Joseph Andrews story, they are doing from inside. See, there are two ways of doing something. First is a forceful way when we really don't want to do that thing, but yeah, still we are doing. And second is we are doing something just because we love that, just because we love doing that thing. Okay, so in this novel you will find that people are doing things because they love that, they are enjoying that. All the characters have one thing in the common. They are all lifelike का मतलब मैं समझा चुकी हूँ. Characters here are so finely enticed by the pen and imagination of the author that they assume the quicks. Quicks means a kind of hitter. I mean, something which like push us to come into the reality, or which push us to do something. Okay, vitality and the quality of fun from the author's experience of life. No wonder Hazlitt said that Fielding was an observer of human nature. So Fielding was a person who used to observe nature. Byron said something about Fielding. Fielding is a prose Homer of the human nature. Homer was a very famous writer of ancient time. Okay, he even you can see his name in literary criticism. Not he criticized literary criticism part also. also, but Homer was a very prominent writer of ancient time. Okay. So here he's comparing Fielding with Homer. Through Fielding, characters are true to human nature and interesting, yet they are not admirable or likable. See, a comedy can be entertaining, comedy can be amusing, but not every person like that. Not every. Some people are interested in, fiction. Some people are interested in gothic novels. Some people are interested in thriller. Some people are interested in murders. So comedy is not like admirable or likable. A Fielding's novel, this Joseph Andrew, is not admired by every person. In fact, Lady Bobby and Trolliver are repulsive, but the reader find them interesting. Mr. Wilson is commonly found to be uninteresting through not completely wooden. Okay. Characters are distinct from each other. Obviously, yeah, every human being is different from each other. That's why there is a new kind of that education system arises from last 5 to 6 years. That's called inclusive education. Inclusive education means we every inclusive education carries in itself that every individual, even the fraternal twins or the identical twins. Fraternal twins means twins whose physical feature doesn't match with each other. Identical twins means those twins which who is like sharing same physical appearance. Okay, so what this inclusive classroom says that every individual, even the twins, every individual, even the twins, does not have same qualities or same interests. So here also characters are distinct from each other. They are different from each other. Fielding arts of characterization is completely devoid of vagueness and indefiniteness. Each character is clearly distinct from all other. This is particularly remarkable, though there are many representatives of people following one profession. Example, there are 10 people belonging to the publican class, landlords, landladies of inns, ale houses, but each one characters is clearly etched. Example, Tim, the owner of the lion. Though he resembles a lion, his manner is that of a meek lamb, and his affable manner endears him to all his customers. Later in the book, we come across yet another innkeeper who astonishes Parson Adams with his flippant attitude to religion. Similarly, several parsons and country squires are clearly distinguished from each other. Example, Parsons Adams is in no way similar in the character of Parson Barbers. Characters are transcribed from real life. Fielding drew his inspiration from his characters from people he knew well. So obviously, that's what I was saying from very long, that if you want to know the age of any, if you want to know any age, just start reading. You will find out that whatever. See, we are writing what we are looking, what we are seeing nowadays. People are criticizing in Twitter. People are like behind each other. So why they are behind each other? Because that's what they are looking. That's what they are seeing. Parsons Adams is modeled on the character of William Young. Peter Pounds on the misery Peter Walter, known to be notorious moneylender. Okay, Tim, the innkeeper of the lion, is inspired from Timothy Harris, a well-known and courteous publican. Parson Tubular is modeled on Fielding's first tutor, Mr. Oliver of Montcombe, and Fanny was influenced by Fielding's wife. So these are the real characters and the characters he described in the novel. Okay, Charlotte Caddock to this basic character. Fielding add two vital ingredients: fact and fiction. Okay, he recombines trait, exaggerates them. Exaggerate means elaborate them, tweaks, teases them, and creates a living, breathing character. So here, Joseph Henry Fielding, he used real characters in a different name or in this novel. Okay, no psychological analysis of character. Fielding deliberately, what he did, does not analyze the traits of his character. This is why Dr. Johnson obviously critique, commented that Fielding is contented with the husk of life, while Richardson is concerned with the kernel. Okay. Also, since Fielding is a writer of comedies, he cannot dwell on an analysis of his character. Furthermore, see, if you want to know the story, why I'm not explaining you the summary, you can directly go to Google and you will understand the summary. Okay, you can do it, but the thing which I am explaining in this class from your textbook is those things which you will not find in Google easily. You have to search and you don't even go for it. Give me a minute. Further, the qualities of Fielding characters are revealed through dialogue rather than Richardson epistolary style. Characters are both universal and local. Fielding is a true representative of the 18th century manner and society. If Troubadour, Adams, and Brannus are typical of the 18th century, it must also be remembered that underlining their local and temporal form, they also depict their true nature. Okay, hypocrites, gallants, miseries, and debauches dot this novel because they are to be found in society, and they are as much as local as they are universal, individual, and types. What this paragraph is saying that if you look locally, that means if you look only in your family or in your neighborhood, you will find hypocrites people, gallants, miseries. Okay, if you look at individually, if you're looking at one person, that person is also hypocrite. See, what I am explaining, what I am depicting in front of you is not I am not what I am depicting in front of you all is not the way I am depicting the character in front of my parents. So every human being, whatever that human being is doing something, whatever the characters he or she is showing in front of specific individual, that is different from another individual. So the characters of this Joseph Entry novel is universal, individual, and types. Okay, that means every person is hypocrite, gallant, and miseries. Whether you accept it or not, but it's a reality. That's up to you. Absence of caricatures. Through Fielding has an eye of comic trait. Okay, he used to look things in a comic way. He does not have venture into caricatures. Critic Walter Allen says, what is the meaning of critic? Critic is not a person who is like criticizing or who is like saying something negative to a person. Critic can be there are types of critics. They can be positive, they are giving advice or suggestions. There can be negative critics who are just like criticizing. Okay, so critic Walter Allen says, Fielding claims to describe a species and not an individual, but he always describes the pieces in terms of the individual. So here he is like, if you will look at these lines, you will find that he is not exactly criticizing Fielding. Somewhere he is appreciating Fielding, and on the other side he is saying that he can do this also. Okay, so next paragraph, characters mostly from lower and middle classes. Fielding depicts the lower and middle classes and generally avoid the aristocracy. He avoid the aristocrat people. This is because the aristocracy was considered artificial. Okay, because he feels the aristocrat people are artificial and therefore uninteresting. Even they are not interested and uninteresting to the writer. Besides, okay, the author understands the representatives of the class of society that he writes about, so is able to depict them with the finest detail. So what if we are looking something, if we are seeing something, or if we are experiencing something, we can elaborate that thing in a finest way. Finest way means in a thoroughly way or in a very good way. But if we don't have that experience, let's take an example of okay, I'll give an example. Let's take an example of, what should I take an example? Let me think. Okay, let's take an example of a scientific name of a tree. Until or unless you have that knowledge of the scientific name, knowledge of that tree, you will not understand. You will not, your idea will not get there. You cannot explain that thing. Okay, so here, why Henry Fielding took lower or middle class? Because he belongs to middle class. That is why, because he is experiencing middle class and lower class. That is why he is writing about those classes. Simple. Now, self-portraiture in Joseph Entry. Self-portraiture means he is expressing himself. Self-portrait means expressing ourselves. Fielding has invested some of his own traits in three of his characters: Joseph Entry, Horatio, and Mr. Wilson. So you will find the characters of Fielding in these three characters of Joseph Entry novel. Joseph's physical appearance is similar to Fielding. Horatio's dignified bearing, his moods and his wits are akin to Fielding, just as Mr. Wilson's experience in London in the theatre, his hag word, and his marriage to Harriet Harty. Now comes to Joseph. I explained this you know. Joseph Entry as a picaresque novel. Only the that story summary part is left. Let me take you. Adjust. I should have made the PPT. Now this. I'm fast. Okay, ठीक है देखेंगे. Okay, the history of adventure of Joseph Andrews and his friend Mr. Abraham Adams, or Joseph Andrews, was written by Henry Fielding, as I told you, was published in 1742 as a comic epic poem in the prose. The novel, one of the first in the English language, encompasses many principles of Augustan age in which it was written. In the era, literature, particularly satire, was reviewed as a means of instruction, and observation was considered the best way to learn human being or human nature and the world. Henry Fielding's satirical commentary on hypocrisy, status, and virtue demonstrate to readers which qualities to avoid and which to emulate. This guide refers to the edition of the book published by Create Space Independent Publishing. The novel is similar in style of Cervantes' Don Quixote. Okay, this novel is similar to Don Quixote, as a main character embark on a journey full of slapstick comedy and meet several upper and lower class characters along the way. As Joseph Andrew and Parson Adams journey from London to their own country, they face robbers, rude inn owners, sexual temptations, and false kindness from the upper class, all while maintaining their Christian virtues and charity. Okay, written in the response of Samuel Richardson novel Pamela. So this novel is answer of the novel written by Samuel Richardson Pamela, in which the heroine fends off sexual temptation to maintain her virtue. Okay, in the Pamela, you will find that Pamela was a heroine of that novel. She is like she's like maintaining her sexual temptation. Joseph Andrews flips 18th century ideas of sexuality and virtue upside down. Fielding shows that charity and virtue lead to true contentment and blessing from God. So here, what Fielding want to describe is that if you have charity means if you have a good character, and virtue, that means if you have a good moral. See, every human being's morality and the characters are different from others. Okay, so if you have good, as per your opinion, it is good, then you're a good human being. Then you will get a blessing of God. While selfishness and lust lead to nothing. If you are, if you are lusty for human being, if you are lusty for things, if you are lusty for materialistic laziness, then you will get nothing. Plot summary. Lady Booby, the wife of Squire, Sir Thomas Booby. Okay, she's a wife of Sir Thomas Booby, takes a romantic interest in Joseph Entry. Either, see, that's called extramarital affair. She either here she is in relation, she is already in relationship as a wife to Sir Thomas Bobby, but still she is interested in Joseph Andrew for his good looks, popularity, and makes him her footman. So that's why she makes Joseph Andrews her footman. Parson Adams is also interested in Joseph, but for his Christian characters and aptitude for education. Lady Booby and Joseph leave for London. They went to London, where Sir Thomas Booby dies. His Lady's Booby's husband, Sir Thomas Booby, died in London, and cleverly invites him to sleep with her. So, okay, after his death, what happened? After Sir Thomas Bobby death, Lady Booby flirts with Joseph and cleverly, that means by manipulating, invites him to sleep with her. Joseph does not notice her sexual advantages, thinking that a woman in her high position would not be interested in him. So here, what Joseph Andrew is thinking, that she is very rich. Why the hell she will be interested in me? But what is the inside story? That she is interested in Joseph Andrew. In anger, Lady Booby fires Joseph because Joseph was not fulfilling her sexual desire. He heads towards the Bobby's country parish in search of Fanny Goodwill, a milkmaid or Joseph's childhood sweetheart. On the road, Joseph is robbed. Okay, when Bobby fires Joseph, he was going to find Fanny Goodwill. Okay, Fanny Goodwill is his childhood friend. So while he was going towards Fanny Goodwill's house, in the road, he was robbed, beaten, and left for dead. A group of wealthy coach passengers save him in to recover, where Parson Adams stops on his way to London, hoping to publish his sermons. Realizing he forgot sermons at home, Adams decided to return to the country parish with Joseph as his traveling companion. Okay, on the journey, Adams end up taking the wrong path. He meets to a party's hunter, and while the two men are talking, they hear a young woman screaming. Adams runs to her rescue while the hunter runs away, and Adams saves her from attempted rape. Adams realizes that the woman is none other than Joseph's sweetheart, Fanny Goodwill. Okay. Adams and Fanny stop at an inn where they find Joseph. Joseph wants to marry Fanny right away, but accepts Adams' advice to wait. In the morning, Adams goes to the local clergyman, Mr. Trubiller, to ask her for a loan to pay their bill at the inn, but his request is denied. A poor but kind of peddler see, read the story by your own and tell me in the next class what you have understood. It's a story about a character, a person who is like doing work in a woman's house, and they then got banished because of that woman, because he was not fulfilling that particular woman's desire. So that's how the story ends. That's all for today's class, because time is up and your next class is going to be started. Where is Zoom? That's all for today. Have a very good day to all of you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.